Welcome to Shambhavi Spectrum Marketing Magic Industry Insight series. Today, my lovely guest is Natasha Mahajan, the founder of Mr. Bluefish. Thank you so much, Natasha, for being here, for finding the time to do this with me. How are you today?
Thanks, Shambhavi. How are you? I'm good.
So we've been going over this that we need to talk, and let me start with the question that when I was looking at the logo, you have a cute little blue fish out there, and
Yeah.
I'm very eager to start the conversation with why the blue fish, and what do you mean when you say the tagline "unboxing sustainability"?
So the bluefish was actually the inspiration for our name, Mr. Bluefish. Uh, we are a sustainable packaging company. And the bluefish was actually inspired by a video of a bluefish that was stuck in a plastic bag. It was transparent, so you couldn't see that there was a plastic bag around the fish, but it was rescued by these by divers in the Indian Ocean. And so the fish represents someone or creatures that are lucky enough to not be affected by our waste. But we know that there are millions and millions of sea creatures and even humans ourselves who are affected by the amount of waste that we create. So, unboxing sustainably basically ties into creating packaging that is sustainable. So, when you unbox anything that you receive, I mean, e commerce packaging is, and e commerce sales are through the roof right now, especially post COVID. And so when we unbox anything that we order, we want to make sure that the packaging or the waste, which is just used a few times, is sustainable. So that's basically the ethos behind the entire company.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And this is the most unlikely way in which I start these conversations. Natasha, tell me something about yourself. How long have you been here in the UAE? And where did your journey start?
So I have been in the UAE for 10 years. I came here when I was pregnant with my twin boys, and we moved from the US. I basically didn't want to raise them by myself in the US. So I said, okay, closer to home. And for the last, I say, 7 or 8 years, I've just been stay-at-home mom. I've been watching sustainability really closely in terms of just research about what we can do as an individual, what we can do to, to do a little bit around the house, and researching chemicals, learning about composting and recycling. Um, and I also taught sustainability workshops for children in schools with another social enterprise. And so my journey to become an entrepreneur was basically born from this need to make something, make a difference, that you're not just saying, people should do this and companies should do this and governments should do this. Starting something on my own basically meant that, okay, now I'm responsible for creating, as a business, creating some change in the market.
Right. So when you said research and you said composting and also sustainability workshops with schools, what is your background actually?
So my background is actually in fashion. I worked in the fashion industry for 11 years, um, as a stylist, as a marketer, as a designer, as a owner of a business. So I've done sort of the entire range of uh, jobs, and even sort of my own business in fashion. Um, and it's an amazing line. It's something that I love, something that I was extremely passionate about. And but unfortunately, after I had kids, I just did not feel that passion for fashion as much as I did for sustainability. So I have a new passion, new learning. After spending, all of my education, all of my experience in fashion, this is sort of like a new beginning.
So, with sustainability and with your passion for fashion, do you think ever you will go back to what now is called as a sustainable fashion? I mean, do you see yourself sometime in the future looking at that? Because we know the kind of uh, the waste and the sustainability actions which the fashion industry needs to take care of. So, do you think at any point you would like to go back to that? Maybe sometime when you have more time and more thought, you're able to put into the whole business structure, because as entrepreneurs you also need to make profits out of it. So do you think you will ever be looking at that again?
I'm not going to say no. Uh, Never say never. Yes, maybe at some point. But I do understand that there's still, I think there's a lot of, yes, opportunity, but then there's also a lot of greenwashing in fashion. At the end of the day, when you're in manufacturing of any kind, there is a lot of waste. So if you are looking to be sustainable in fashion, I think the first thing is to make less and buy less. So if people buy less and then producers make less, that means you're not going to make the same, as a business, it's not going to be sustainable. So there's still a little bit of, at least in my head, it doesn't make sense right now to get into it.
Yes, and so this is actually a complete different discussion about the fashion and what goes on, whether we should produce more or produce less, and how to go about it.
Yeah.
That is actually a complete discussion. Let's focus
Yeah.
more more on you today, and tell me that with Mr. Bluefish, what does a normal day at work look like? What is the things which you are doing, and uh, with the
So
company products, what are the products that you have? What are the services that you offer?
So we started off with just one product. This was before we decided to make it into a whole packaging company. This is called the Furoshiki wrap. So it's basically gift wrapping made out of dead stock of fabric. So it's a fabric gift wrap that is reusable, and because it's also made from leftover fabric from manufacturing, it's quite sustainable. It also looks really pretty. So that was the first product that I launched. And then during COVID, I saw that we were getting all of these boxes and all of this packaging, all of these products in excessive amounts of packaging that was just going to go waste. So I decided to expand the product line to more, packaging options for different products like apparel and for ceramics, for candles, for sort of electronics, anything, but have a sustainable packaging option for that. So some of the products. So one of the second product that I introduced was a replacement for bubble wrap. As you know, bubble wrap is extremely popular, not just for popping it, but for wrapping everything from furniture to glass to anything that's breakable. Sometimes even non-breakables, you will see people wrap, an electronic. You'll get a mouse in the mail, and that's wrapped with bubble wrap and then put in a box, and it's absolutely wasteful. So this is a uh, completely compostable, recyclable, paper-based bubble wrap. So it's one of the most popular products that we supply right now.
Nice. And so I visited your website and it's very pretty. Do you have somebody do it for you, or are you managing it yourself?
So I am managing it myself right now, but yes, we did have someone created for us. Most of the design and concept was created by myself and my husband, but the actual, obviously, the setting it up, the technical parts were outsourced.
So that's a good question to ask. What is the support from your family for you in your entrepreneurial journey?
Um, Family here is husband and kids, and the kids are little cheerleaders, but they don't do anything. Uh, and the husband is amazing. He is obviously the investor. He is the gives me advice, who is also my cheerleader and is there to support in whatever whether it's taking photographs or it's creating some content. He's right there. Yeah.
Okay. So, if one wanted to know about your products and services, one could look up the website.
Yeah.
This series is about marketing magic and industry insights. And so, I would like to know from your side what are the various marketing techniques that you use. So, you have an Instagram, is that right?
Yeah. So social is obviously the first and the easiest way that I started, sort of promoting my products. Um, a lot of people contact me from through social itself. They like the products, they see the photographs, they want to know more. Before the website was ready, there was a lot of back and forth. But one of the reasons why we want to do this slightly differently from other packaging companies is that to reduce the friction and the time spent in sourcing packaging. So, packaging usually is the last thing people think about after they're setting up their business. So, as a B2B, we want to make it really easy for them. So we tell people, look, if you see our website, it's got the pricing, it's got all the details, it has as much information as we can put out there to make things easier for our prospective customers to see and then ask us questions about customization or printing. So our website and our social is sort of like a front of marketing where you can get all of the information in one stop without having to go back and forth.
And that saves a lot of time rather than you're just trying
Yeah.
to for you and for the person who's searching the
Yeah.
customer. So I think that's very nice. Transparency is a thing which in this time is required, and people appreciate that and understand that. Maybe you might negotiate a little bit later again, but that
Yeah.
is a different thing. At least you know what your floor price is when you start off on
Yeah.
a discussion.
So all
So
of our
that
stock products are listed, and that's the price that I would sell it to everyone at. It's not like this is the price for you, this is the price for you. No, it doesn't work like that. It's one price for everyone, and it's there. You want to see it. My competitors want to see it. Everyone wants to see it. It's right there. So it makes life easy for me, and it makes life easy for the clients. And over time, they understand that this is not going to change. So
okay.
there's a certain amount of trust that this is how we work.
Which is very good. That means that this is the price and this is non-negotiable, and it is up to you now how you take it, which is great positioning to be in that.
Yeah.
Sometimes otherwise, if people find out in the market that it was sold at a lesser price for someone, you could feel a bit cheated. For example, when we go and buy something and next day you realize that there's a sale in that place and you feel like
Yeah.
that's
Can we
you're
go to
like,
this
oh,
one? Yeah.
yeah. Natasha, tell me, Instagram, do you have a Facebook page?
I do have a Facebook page that's linked to the Instagram. So everything we post on Instagram gets automatically. And then if any inquiries come through in Facebook as well, we sort of respond to those.
Okay. And do you have a LinkedIn page for Mr.
I
Bluefish?
do have I have a personal LinkedIn page. I haven't set up a page for Mr. Bluefish, and that's one of the things on my to-do list to set up a dedicated page for the company, which then sort of will add to the marketing and the exposure that the company can get.
Definitely, because I think one of the reasons I recommend LinkedIn page to everybody, especially like yours, you have a product, you have a service, a solution which you are offering, and if you use the correct hashtags, then people are looking at the page, even if you are not inviting them, which is the LinkedIn strategy that you have to invite people onto your page. But even then, and then again, I'm not great in favor of people setting up as a personal account their company page and inviting everybody. I don't know, for some reason that seems a little you the company should be company and the identity should be some. You can cross post from here to there, but this, when people become individuals and thing, even on Facebook, in fact, that is something which I would not recommend to anybody. And
Mhm.
so I hope that when we see Mr. Bluefish, it will be a page which is, and I look forward to seeing and following also you
Yes.
on that. Tell me about, do you blog?
So don't we have a few resources on the website, which basically is information about sustainability, information about packaging, a little bit about ESG on the website itself. So those are under resources. I keep adding information over there. So that's sort of like our blog, but it's more resources, information that people can get and understand sustainable packaging, what the options are, and what's available, even if it's not available with us. It's just education, it's awareness.
Okay. So you're not personally blogging as in about the organization as such. It's
No,
more of a resource thing.
right. I mean,
And
there are few stories on social and reels, but that's just very limited. So
And of course, the other methods that we use are networking, which is where we met in the networking session with Female
yeah,
Fusion. And when I requested you to come on board and talk to me about your organization.
yeah.
And so that is the networking. Tell me more about networking sessions. What kind do you do? And are you part of many groups? Um, during the networking, what happens?
So I would say that networking and sort of word of mouth has been our biggest sort of eh, supporter of getting business, uh, our biggest channel basically. And as you said, networking through Female Fusion has been amazing for Mr. Bluefish. Um, it is the only networking group that I am a part of, and considering the time that is required to go for face-to-face meetings, I don't plan on joining anymore. I think if I'm with one and I'm sort of just ha- giving my attention to that and running the business on the side, I think that's a lot. um, I think one of the best ways to sort of connect with people. I mean, I'm quite old school, so nothing beats face to face. When I had my own fashion business earlier, one of my favorite things actually was to do exhibitions, meet the clients face to face, show them, see who they are, and then recommend outfits. So it's almost the same thing where you meet people face to face, see what their product is, see what their business is, and then you know that okay, these are the products that would fit them and their business, their products, their pricing, um, and for them to meet me as well. And we sort of develop then a relationship, because even if someone is not looking for products, is not looking for packaging, um, the, it, it's great having a network of like-minded people, of sustainable entrepreneurs who are looking in the future to do good in society. So I really enjoy that. Yeah.
That's great. And so, again, we look forward to seeing you in the next Coffee Connect with Female
Absolutely,
Fusion.
yeah.
Yeah. So, Natasha, do you put up any stalls or any pop up markets? Are you part of that? Do you put up any kiosk, anything like that?
So the kiosks, we have done a few in the Female Fusion Coffee Connects itself. I plan to do a few more in those. When we started with the Furushiki wraps, we did do a few kiosks in the Christmas markets, which was great at that time. I think we were one of the very few people just doing wrapping for Christmas. So that's something that we still do, but not for the B2B part of it. So for the B2B part of it is just I think just events at Female Fusion.
So, when you say we, do you have a team? Anybody to
No, so
help
we
you?
is me and Mr. Bluefish. That is we. I'm used to saying we. But
Because
just me.
I was just wondering
I
whether you
sound-
had support.
Yeah, no, the I sounds very lonely and sort of.
So, can we find you conducting conversations with Mr. Bluefish?
Yeah, well, not yet. That hasn't happened as yet, but I do talk to myself sometimes. So.
Okay. Tell me, what are your hobbies otherwise, when you are not Mr. in company of Mr. Bluefish? What are you doing?
So I've recently taken up pottery. So I'm learning pottery on the wheel. That's one of the things that I enjoy doing. I spend a couple of hours on the weekend on the wheel, getting my hands dirty. And I enjoy reading, spending time with my kids. That's it.
What is the book on your in your hand right now, and what is the book which you would recommend to? So my audience are usually students or entrepreneurs or people looking forward to becoming entrepreneurs. So is there some what are you reading now, and what book would you recommend to people which kind of shifted your uh, thought process or something?
So right now I'm reading Atomic Habits by James Clear, and I love it. Like I love how it's so simple, but there's so many thoughts and ideas in there that you're like, I just need to do it. It's so easy, and you don't think about organizing your time or just prioritizing, and the day goes by, and you've sort of you tally it up, and you've accomplished maybe two things, but. Uh, so that's definitely a book I would recommend as well because it's an easy read, but it's extremely insightful and extremely useful if you put it to use. So
I agree with you on that. I also started reading it, and I agree because there are lots of examples and easy to
yeah.
do stuff. Like you said, very easy to organize. So that's a great. What is your vision for Mr. Bluefish? Where do you see Mr. Bluefish in the next 5 years or 10 years?
So we want to make sustainable packaging normal, not something that's a small niche, not something that only sustainably focused companies think about. Uh, Make packaging that is, recyclable, compostable, reusable, especially the norm when people create their products. So it shouldn't be like the last thing people think about while creating a, a product based, designing a product. They have to think of circularity in whole, not just of the product, but of packaging as well. So, and we want to be there partnering with companies who put circularity in the forefront. So, while they're creating their products, and thinking about the end of life cycle of their product, we want to be there partnering with them, thinking about the life cycle of our packaging as well.
So that sounds like a great plan that which is actually part of the consumer behavior, is you start thinking about the purchase before the pre and the post as to what happens in the disposal.
Right.
So it's a great place to be in. And when if people start thinking about it, I think they would also adjust their products accordingly and working in the arena of their own core competencies, but uh, keeping in mind that how they what they want to be looked at or viewed as, and what they're positioning. And everybody needs to talk about sustainability and become a part, like it should be a normal thing after
Absolutely.
some
It
time.
should be normal conversation, not something that's, we have a few niche players in the market. It should be common across all businesses, small, large enterprises as well. Um, and also there's the marketing part of it, and then there's the actual steps that you take to becoming sustainable. So more real work and less talking about it.
So that's a great note to wrap up this session in. Any mantra that you live by, and anything which you would like to share with my audience before we say bye to each other here?
So something that I actually picked up, it's not mine, obviously. It's so we were recently at an event, and um, the uh, I don't remember her name,
That's
but
okay.
the lady from Waste Lab, she said, trust yourself, because a lot of decisions that we make as entrepreneurs, we keep second guessing ourselves, and we keep thinking, is this the right way to go? Is this something that we should do, not do? So, especially female entrepreneurs, we just have to say, just do it. Don't second guess yourself. Trust yourself and just do it.
Nice. That's a very good one because we waste a lot of time, I think, doing this. So I hope, and I will also take this from you as a takeaway
I
today.
need it, so I
No
will.
overthink. Don't overthink and just trust
Yes,
yourself. I think,
absolutely.
yeah. So
Yeah.
hang in there, Natasha. Don't go away.
Thank
I'll
you.
just say bye here now. All right. Thank
Okay,
you
thank
so very
you.
much.
Thanks
Thank you
so
for
much.
being here. Right.
Thank
Take,
you.
take
Bye.
care. Take care. Yeah. Bye.